Hello everyone, Joseph Todd here from Holiday Homes. In this kind of short video, I would like to talk a little bit about the differences between a small company, a small management company, and a bigger or medium-sized business. And the reason is that recently I have came across a post on social media where someone was asking a question if anyone would suggest to give their holiday let into a small business or rather to a bigger, well-established business. And in the comments, I have seen that so many people advise to give a holiday let to a management rather to a small business, to like a person. And even someone say that if you can't put a person to the company, if you can't put a face to the company, then he wouldn't give it to any big business. And it gave me some thought, because we started our business in unofficially in 2018, officially in 2021. And when we started, we were a very small business. It was only me and my wife, and we were basically doing all the work, including cleaning. I remember we had in our living room all the bed linen and everything there after the cleans dried and just hanged up on the doors. So we were a very small business when we started, and there are some differences in how people perceive a small business and medium or bigger size business. Now, currently, we manage 116 properties. So we are probably not anymore a very small business, and it's not anymore just me or my wife or my brother-in-law who is there to run the business, but we are quite a bigger team. And I think the main difference is that if I am the homeowner, I am the investor, and I give the property to a person, let's call him, I don't know, Peter. I give my property to Peter to manage. And if Peter is a small business, then I know that I can contact Peter 24/7. Peter will be adjusting the prices for me. He will be calling someone out to deal with maintenance. So it's Peter and his job that basically takes care of my property. And I understand, for me as a homeowner or as a property investor, it feels good to have one person there. I know he's working hard to make my property a success. But I believe every Peter at one day would like to grow and to build his business bigger. And there will be a point where Peter cannot just be on his own. And that's where the difference in the view, how people observe a certain business, starts to change. Because if I'm the property investor and I'm giving my business or my property to a bigger company, it makes me feel that, okay, maybe the company is too large. Maybe I don't know who is actually the person who is taking care of my property. Or, if something goes wrong, who is it actually that I contact? How can I be sure that my property is well managed if the managers are a company and not a certain person that I trust? So, well, I don't know how other companies are doing that. And I think there is some truth in it that when you deal with big companies, that personal contact maybe is not there that much, or maybe even people think that they become just a number and then no one really cares for them, and then that's why they choose a smaller business. But in this video, I'd like to tell you about how we do things and how did we grow from 0 properties or from 1 property to 116 units, and what is the procedure and how we do these things. So now, when we were smaller, I was the main contact for all of my clients. I was the contact for the cleaners. I called out maintenance. I set up the prices. I posted on social media. So I did the whole job, basically. But then as we grew, now our idea was that we want our clients to perceive us as a small business, but still grow and scale the company to bigger numbers. And we had to go through several trials and errors until we found a business model that works that way. And I'd like to explain it to you now. So if you are watching it and you are considering to give your property to a manager, then I give you some ideas what is different or maybe better with a bigger company than a smaller, and how we operate. So if you are a client in holiday homes, you would be basically assigned to one of the area managers. So is it either Zoltan or Fanny, who would be your main point of contact. Now, they work 8 hours a day, and they are there to coordinate the works, the day-to-day routines between clients, cleaners, maintenance, and they overlook the call center. So they don't talk with guests directly. They don't answer every single message themselves, but they are there to make sure that these particles work seamlessly very well. So they overlook the guest communication, the maintenance, cleaning, and they are your main point of contact. So your area manager will know everything about your property, and he will be there for you as if it would be a small business. The difference between a small business and us is that the area managers have a whole team behind their back. So while our area manager is handling a maintenance issue at the property and he's scheduling the contractor or dealing with the cleaner, now behind his back there is a whole administrative team who will set up the prices. So there is someone else, a marketing manager, who will set the prices, who will post on social media, send email campaigns, send SMS campaigns, and promote your property so more people book direct with us on our website. And this is a different person, so it's not your area manager who does that. Now, another person who helps is our administrator, Shannon. Whenever we have invoices from the contractors or cleaners or any expenditure, now all of these invoices have to be put into the statement. So when you get your statement, you can see exactly what costs there were on that property. So that is also, again, not done by your area manager, but it's done by our administrator. So she will make sure that the finances are in correct order, put on your statement. So when you get your statement at the end of the month, so you know exactly what went on with your property. And then besides that, we have our booking specialist, who additionally to our marketing manager helps with actively looking for direct bookings. So while you have your property there with us and you communicate with our area manager about anything during the day, there is someone in the back actively calling for direct bookings, calling companies, trying to book a direct booking for your property. Now, imagine if you would expect all this to be done by one person, some of the aspects of the work wouldn't be done that much. He would just probably have no time for this. But the way how we do it is that there is a person at the front who manages the day-to-day routines, and he has a whole team behind his back. Additionally, there is someone dealing with IT. So imagine we are on 30 different platforms. We have a channel manager, we have domains, whatever. Many things can go wrong in the IT sphere of the business. Now imagine if your area manager or your manager has to deal and has to make sure that all the listings are perfectly set up, all the connections are working well, all the automations, all of that IT part. So he would be busy all day just with that, to be sure, especially if something goes wrong. So in this case, it's me. I'm the IT guy in the business. And so while our team is out there handling whatever is needed to be handled, I personally make sure that our systems work well, all the listings are perfectly done, connected, and that basically the systems are there and actively working, again, for your property. Who else am I forgetting? Because we are many more in the business. Yes, so now cleaners and maintenance people. Okay, so if you work with a small business, now that Peter that I mentioned, your manager, would have to make sure that you have good cleaners and good maintenance contractors in place to do the job, to do a good job at your property, right? But imagine if that person would suddenly have to deal with a broken system. He wouldn't have time to call companies for direct bookings. In the meantime, a boiler breaks down and he has to deal with a maintenance issue. And he gets a complaint from the guest that the cleaners did a very bad job. It would be impossible for him to handle everything on a high, good standard level. So that's why we have Zsolt here, and his job, mainly beside other tasks, is to make sure that we have the right people in place for cleaning, especially for cleaning and for maintenance. So if there is a bad cleaner and we just get bad reviews, the area manager is there in front to deal with the daily issues. But he has help from Zsolt, because Zsolt will step in, fire the cleaner, and hire a new person, establish the person on his position as a cleaner. And then the area manager can continue working and coordinating the jobs on a daily basis. Can you see how much work there is actually, how many different positions there are in order to keep one property well serviced as a holiday let? It's quite a big task. And from my experience, yes, small companies are great. We've been a very small company. But as we grow, there are some additional benefits that we have that a small company doesn't have. And I give you an example. So, for example, we had, since May 2025, we had billboards. So if you've been in Edinburgh, Glasgow, Newcastle, you could see some of our billboards. A small manager, Peter, probably wouldn't have the funds to cover billboards because they're quite expensive. But as you grow, you can use the finances, you can use the funds to market yourself more. And why is it good for you as the property investor? Is because we are marketing your property. Anyone who comes on our website, he has the opportunity to book your property. So it helps with direct bookings. Additional thing that I think is better with a bigger business is generally in terms of resources. Now, currently at the moment, we work with around 70 different contractors, maintenance, cleaning, gas specialists, electricians, etc. As we grow, it's much easier to get the proper right contracts because people have more, I would say, trust to work with us. Whereas a one-man show, Peter, he would have to spend an additional 2-3 days just to try to find someone with a trial and error. Maybe it will work out, maybe not. So again, it's a lot of work. And as you grow your business, these parts get easier. And then I think the most important part where a bigger business has an advantage is the marketing. So I would just mention a few things that we do on a daily basis, and we don't even mention it on social media, or we don't even make it as a huge thing because for us it's just a daily routine. Every month we spend between £2,500 to £3,000 on social media ads. So our reach to potential guests and also owners, we're talking 1 million plus every month. Our database of potential guests or companies, contractor companies who can book your property on our website or contact us and book it, it's 80,000+. Yes, we don't have 200 emails or 400 emails. We have 80,000+ emails. So imagine these contacts are marketed every month. We also have SMS campaigns. Now, to not say a wrong number, I think we are at around 12,000 SMS contacts that are contacted every month or every 2 weeks. And also, Ikra, our amazing booking specialist, she's full-time there on your behalf to actively hunt for direct bookings. That's her full-time job. She's there contacting potential guests, trying to close direct bookings. So again, in terms of, if you look at it as a business, this is a resource that helps our clients to get their property perform better. So I think, not sure if I'm forgetting some. Oh, yes, a very important part. So you see, let's say you are a client and your manager is Peter, yeah? So you give him one property. But now you have invested to another property, and so you have a second property ready to go. And you call Peter that here is the new property, is ready to be furnished and ready to be put on the market. But Peter is busy. He has to deal with guests. He has to deal with contractors, with marketing. So who is going to furnish your property? So in our business, we have Wojciech, who is our new business manager, and he is responsible for closing new contracts and furnishing and setting up properties from scratch. Now, the end product of his work is not a property which is almost done, but you just need to buy some bed linen, or it's ready, but we just need something. No, it's a completely ready property for guests. So when Wojciech signs off a property, it means that the guests can actually check in right after. It's professionally photographed, it's professionally furnished, staged, and it has everything from the toilet paper to TV set up with a Netflix, ready to go for guests. And all this can happen in a matter of 3 days. Okay, so you see the difference. And we are not a bigger business because we want you to be just a number that nobody cares for. The opposite is true. We want to be a bigger business in order to service you better, faster, with a better level and quality of service. And I think every business owner, even Peter, the small one-man show guy, even he wants that. It's just not easy to get there. And it's bloody not easy. We are doing this for several years, and we had to go through a lot of trials and errors before we figured a business model that works. Let me just think if I forgot someone. I did actually forget again someone, and that's our call center. So one very important part of holiday let management is to keeping in touch with guests. So again, let's say you have Peter as a manager. Guests arrives to the property, they need to know what's the Wi-Fi, they can't find the lockbox, they have a boiler doesn't work, there is a leak, it hasn't been cleaned, whatever, a lot of problems. So they will contact Peter with these kind of messages, ding, 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 2 a.m. at night, where is the hairdryer? Yeah, Peter have to reply. So again, it's great that you have Peter who manages your property, and he is a small company. You can put a face to the company. You know Peter very well. He is a good guy. You trust him. But trust me, this guy will be overwhelmed. He will be overwhelmed to the point that he will either give up, he will sell the business, or he will just be pissed off, to be honest, because it's so much of it. It's 24/7, never stops. So in our business, we have a call center. We work with, it's a third-party company that we work for over 2 years. Every person, every employee there, we have trained ourselves, so they are kind of like our in-house team, and there is 9 people who change on shifts 24/7. Saturday, Sunday, holiday, Christmas, whatever. There is always someone on the front line receiving messages from the guests. And so they are the front face of holiday homes that they communicate with guests. And then depending on the type of the issue, things can escalate, can be handled by area managers, can be handled by the director of operations. It can go to different departments depending what the issue is. 80% of the issues they handle themselves based on house manuals, video tutorials, and all the information that we provide about the property to make it easier to troubleshoot the most common things. Now, if there is a water leak from the neighbor, of course, this requires a visit of a contractor. And so these things are then handled by the area manager. It's escalated to the area managers. And also we have Valencia. I haven't mentioned her. So as I mentioned, our area managers work during the day, working hours, but life never stops in holiday let management. So there are also hours out of office hours, and there are weekend hours. And Valencia is helping us with covering the communication and overlooking the operations during these out of hours times. And she will be there to jump on any emergency and help whenever is needed. And then I think I covered now most of the way how we operate. Yeah, I don't think I forgot now. And I think I included all, which is good, because I wanted to give you a good picture of how do we work here, or what does it mean to be a medium or a bigger size business. And it's really not about not caring for our clients and, you know, just we say now we are big, we reached 100-something units, whatever. No. The reason why we are bigger is because we want to deliver a better service, faster service for our clients. So it's nothing wrong to be a small company if you like, if you prefer to work with one man, Peter, and you like him or whatever, and you give him the property, great, he can do a good job. But I suspect sooner or later that small business will want to become bigger, or will have to, because it's impossible to keep going long term as a very small company in this kind of environment, I would say. But everyone is different. I have my ideas. My idea from the start was to build the business to a certain level, to have the volume, because I personally believe that a proper business needs to have different departments and different divisions, depending on what activity it does. My personal belief is also that we are not professional in everything. I'm really good with these systems and IT and so on, but I probably wouldn't be the best in, I don't know, maybe hiring people, let's say. My business partner, I think, is much better in finding good contractors. So you have different people with different qualities, and it's much better to give them a specialized position where they can thrive and make their position a success. That's also making your property a success. And I personally believe that it's much worse to have one person to do everything and expect him to be a marketing professional, expect him to know everything about Booking.com and all the technical setups, and also he need to do furnishing, order IKEA, etc., then talk with the guests, then call the maintenance guy, then fire cleaners. I don't believe that this is something that can work long term. Okay, I think this is quite a long video. It's longer than I originally wanted. So if you have been watching all the way until here, then thank you. Really appreciate that you took the time and watched this. If not, it's fine. Doesn't matter. I will see you anyway sometime soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.